story where two suspected dealers in the production of fake stamps have been arrested and presented to the press by elements of the Mobile Intervention Unit GME2 here in Douala. In this light, the population has been called upon to stay vigilant against the falsification of documents and other certificates by the forces of law and order. As we get details right ahead with Cedrick.
This administrative corridor of Bonanjo Douala has been infested by bad people and their bad activities, and many have been victims. The anti-criminality unit of the Mobile Intervention Number 2 of the Littoral Region is calling on the population of the Littoral Region to be vigilant with anything that has to do with the certification of documents.
So we are calling upon those who are interested with the ongoing concours, police concours and the gendarmerie to be vigilant and to make sure that they take in charge themselves to certify and make sure that the stamps that they put on the documents are legal.
Today, these two suspects dealing in fake stamps fell into the security web of the Mobile Intervention Unit Number 2.
So as a result of the information we got, we infiltrated the sector and discovered that the two suspects were in charge of receiving documents from candidates for the ongoing police inscription and the gendarmerie, who got some huge sums of amount to the population and took upon them to produce a complete file for the concours, all consisting of fake stamps, carrying the same registration numbers.
Now under detention, Mbole Florent Lambert, 33, and Isukanje Otto, 31, admitted to have been carrying out the illegal activity, providing fake stamps, especially when someone is in need to certify a document. And the case that led to their arrest this time was their involvement in assisting the candidate compiling documents for the police and gendarme concours, where they were caught selling fiscal stamps, all fake, and having the same serial number. At the moment, the anti-criminality unit has called on the population to be conscious at every level, not leaving out the offices, receiving certified documents.
Now, Yango, a popular transport from operating till further notice. The information was made public via a press release signed by Transport Minister Jean-Ernest Masane Ngale. As we get details with Julian Dambi in the report coming up next.
Known to pick up customers at their doorsteps or at any location with just a phone call or an order on their mobile application, Yango, a private taxi service company, has been indefinitely banned by government. The order to ban the operations of the transport company is contained in a press release dated February 8, 2023 and signed by Transport Minister Jean-Ernest Masena Ngale, citing their failure to meet up with legal requirements. According to a report by Reuters in September 2022, the government asked the platform to open an office in Cameroon, declare its fares and taxes, as well as publish its terms of use to clients. But according to this report by Reuters, the company did not publicly respond to those demands, leading to its suspension yesterday, February 8, 2023. The Yango Transport Company, which is owned by Russian tech giant Yandex, entered the Cameroonian market in 2021, operating mainly in Yaoundé and Douala. The communique also called on clandestine taxi services or those wishing to operate from digital platforms in particular to comply with Cameroon's transport regulations without delay. Yaoundé has faced pressure to clamp down on clandestine taxi services by the National Taxi Drivers Union since fuel prices rose some weeks ago.
Welcome back. We stay in the transport sector, where inhabitants of Kribi in the Ocean Division of the South region of Cameroon have continued expressing dissatisfaction following the increase in the price of interurban transportation. This is coming up as a result of the increase also in fuel prices, which has been affected throughout the national territory. Details right ahead with Joy Ngong.
Since the increase in the price of fuel in Cameroon, the transport sector has experienced enormous difficulties. Following the outing of Minister of Commerce Luc Magloire Mbarga at Tangana last night, the price of transportation has witnessed a slight increase of 50 francs CFA. Inhabitants of Kribi in the Ocean Division of the South region expressed their frustrations.
Before the augmentation, the price was some distance. It was very easy to, the price was 100 for the distance is not far. But since the augmentation of the fuel, we don't know how, and we cannot explain how now we want to take the human transport, the price has been doubled, and the population are paying. We don't know what to do.
Although the Minister of Commerce somewhat excluded students from the new transportation tariffs, they confessed that practically the situation is unpleasant. Unable to meet up, some students prefer to trek to school. Recall that in the beach town of Kribi, like all other regions of Cameroon, it is not only transportation that has witnessed an increase this year, 2023.
And you're watching the 9:30 a.m. Prime Flash coming to you live from My Media Prime Television. We keep on talking news, and this time around, the Minister of Secondary Education, Professor Pauline Alova-Lyonga, has donated didactic as well as hygiene and sanitation materials to stakeholders in her ministry over in the Adamawa region. In the report coming up next, we are told how the distribution process went on and what modalities were used in selecting the beneficiaries. Take a listen to this. The 5 divisional delegations of the Ministry of Secondary Education, alongside some 29 establishments of the Adamawa region, have received donations including school materials, hygiene and sanitation gadgets, amongst other didactic materials from the Minister of Secondary Education, Professor Pauline Alova-Lyonga. While handing over the items to the respective recipients, Mr. Alim Gaga, the regional delegate for secondary education for the Adamawa, has also welcomed the gesture facile thus.
Monsieur le délégué départemental de la VINA, j'ai l'honneur de vous remettre le don de son Excellence Madame le ministre des Enseignements secondaires, le professeur Alova-Lyonga. I will urge the principal who benefited from this award to put good use of them and to ensure that teachers and students have access.
The donations which have come to the recipients like manna from heaven has kept them this appreciative.
Okay, I am Tonga Benoit Olivier, principal of GBHS Mayo Dolly. I would like to thank our minister for this occasion, which will permit us to take hand and to handle the learning, education, and the digitalisation of our education is our own milieu.
Je voudrais d'abord présenter mes remerciements à son Excellence Madame Alova-Lyonga, le professeur Alova-Lyonga, pour ses dons.
While education in the region has lately been affected by the lack of such basic needs in an era of digitalization, it is expected that this goes a long way in enhancing learning activities here. Welcome back and on to this feature story. Our internet users in Cameroon and worldwide have been battling with cyber criminals from time immemorial, as they sometimes fall prey to their scams and hacking schemes as well. In the following report coming up next, Nsah spoke with a cyber security expert who would now share with us some top ways in identifying their scams. Take a listen to her report.
Dust is here to settle following the 2023 edition of the Safer Internet Day, observed on February 7th, marking the 20th observation of the day, which has as objective to urge all stakeholders to join together to make the internet a safer and better place for all, mainly for children and young people.
Talking to Tata Derrick, a cybersecurity expert, he highlights some good practices to be used by any internet user not to fall prey to any cyber criminals.
One of the first things I want to talk about is the use of strong passwords. Talking about strong passwords, always make sure you use passwords that cannot be easily guessed. So hackers have what we know as a dictionary. And a dictionary contains a lot of passwords. So when they try brute forcing your password, if you use a common word or a dictionary word, it's going to be easy for them to guess or to crack the password. So the second thing I want to be talking about is the fact that you need to be using a multi-layer security authentication, or what we call a two-factor authentication. So if you use a two-factor authentication, it makes it difficult for an attacker to have access to your account. Even if he has your password already, there is another layer of security that he should equally have, so to get access to your.
He adds that a two-factor authentication is very necessary to protect one's account.
Make sure you have a two-factor authentication. It could be a code, it could be through your phone number, it could be an email, and so on.
Tata Derrick did not leave out the various scamming schemes on the internet each user should watch out for.
The third thing is, I want you to be aware of the different phishing scams that exist. Everything that you see online seems to be what it could not be. So whatever you click on, always make sure it is something legitimate. There are some particular things you could click on and someone has access to your account, sensitive information, or maybe your passwords, your location, and so on. So we need to be very careful with the kind of things we click online.
The cybersecurity engineer also calls on all to use secured websites.
Whenever you want to purchase something online, always make sure it is the legitimate website. Always make sure it's not a copy. Always make sure it is a website that is secure by checking on the address bar. You could see maybe a green lock or some green space or maybe some HTTPS. That is another layer of security. Hey, stay safe out there.
Respecting all these recommendations from the cybersecurity expert will guarantee a safer internet for all, especially young people. Thus, reflecting this year's theme, Connect, Reflect, Protect.
And before we take leave of you, let's talk this story of sad emotions where a Cameroonian amputee player, Elvis, popularly known as Visho, is reported to have died following the 7.8 magnitude earthquake which struck Turkey on Monday, February the 6th, 2023. Elvis played for the Malatya Amputee Football Club in Turkey and only joined the team in 2022, that's last year, after he was captain for the Abakwa Boys FC in Bamenda. And on behalf of the BT Media Group, we are extending our heartfelt condolences to the bereaved family, praying that God keeps you strong throughout this grieving period. This is the end of the news, and it has been produced by Elvis Modika. I have been Dolly Ngonde for presentation. Thank you for your keen attention. The news was coordinated by Faith Tata and general supervision came from Kim Leonard. Coming up at exactly 10 a.m. is the brief with Lasha Kingsley, when you're told the stories that make up the major major newspapers in the country. And also In the House comes up at 11 a.m. where we talk youth-oriented activities. Remember, tomorrow is a Youth Day, and let me be the first to say Happy Youth Day in advance. Until next week, stay blessed. Goodbye for now.